I then prayed and I said, God, let's make a deal now. This is my deal between me and you, God. If you spare my life in this country and I don't die because of hunger, I want to promise you, when I move back to South Africa, I want to help set up the film industry in Mpumalanga. This is my covenant between me and God. The development of the industry in the province should not be a decision that is taken by government. The province of Mpumalanga doesn't go to Film Week. Film Week is a film industry event that brings in big organizations to invest money in the space. Mpumalanga is not there, never there. In a feature film, I'll say it's about 90 minutes. Feature film, well budgeted. Let's talk about 200 million. I'm talking about 60 to 70,000 jobs. Do you know we are getting robbed? They're like, what do you mean? I'm like, from what I'm seeing, what we are doing here, it looks like Mpumalanga is going to be buying slot on a TV channel in the name of Mpumalanga TV. Jealous? Mpumalanga is launching a TV. I said, no, but I'm just seeing it that way. Bamkwana, as he said to us in 2022 or 2023, if by 2024 financial year there's no film office in the province, is going to retire. We have it on record. I don't think I'm saying things that he did not say. We have it on record. 2024 financial year is ended. 2023, 2024 now is almost ending. So people were asking me, what is Bamkwana going to resign? Because then there's no film office. I said, no, but I can't speak for him. We will get to meet him and ask him that question.
Oh, hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the People's Eye podcast. Today, we'll be talking about the filming industry in the Mpumalanga province. We have a special guest, Mr. Sfiso Nobela. He's a well-known filmmaker who has made a mark in Canada and even here in South Africa. But he will tell us more about himself. He's here with us. Mr. Nobela, you're welcome.
Thank you, People's Eyes, for inviting me to this very special, special moment for me to talk about the industry, which is one of the space that I put value on. In anything that I do, I always advocate for this space to be one of the most recognized space in the province, because there's a huge potential in it for sustainability in terms of the creative space, because we pretty much, the film industry is one of those that can only, I would say, it hires everyone. So this is the space that if there has to be an investment that needs to be put in, this is the space.
Definitely. Before we go into the details of the ins and outs of the film industry, you started really, really well. Just a little bit of an introduction of yourself, your experience in this industry. How did it start for you? I understand you were in Canada for some time. Now you're back here. Just take us through briefly.
I think the film industry started back in when I was in primary school, from grade primary school is grade 7. I started in grade 7 as a photographer. I was introduced to photography by a gentleman called Frank, and basically he used to take pictures, and he took me with him to take pictures. And over years, over times, I realized that I'm interested in it. So he will take pictures, and then he will give me the pictures to go deliver them. Then I bring the money back. And then after some time, he's like, look, take the camera. You've seen how I've been doing it. So go take pictures and then come back. Let's see what you got. And in 2 days' time, the film was full. We used to use film, not now that we're using digital. So I did my part, and then I came back with him, and it was completely full. And I was like, oh, you fill it up already? I'm like, yeah, I was taking pictures. He's like, are you sure the people who took pictures, they're going to pay? I was like, yeah. I was like, okay, good. Go develop the pictures. I was like, whoa, I thought you wanted me to take the pictures and then you go develop, then I go sell them. He's like, no, find your ways around to do it.
Oh, okay.
Fortunate enough, I was I would say I grew up with the mindset of trying to explore things.
Where did you grow up?
Matsulu.
Oh, in Matsulu.
I spent some time in Matsulu. I was born in Komazi, moved around from Komazi to Lowe's Creek, and then moved to Matsulu. Then from Matsulu, I grew up. I spent most of my time there and did my high school over there. So I had this fascination about computers and technology. This is back in 2002, 2003. And my biggest interest was just to find out what really is happening around technology. So I would learn computer, how I used to open the computer and see how it works. I didn't care about how to use it. I just wanted to see how it works. So that fascination helped me to also venture into opening cell phones and get to see. So 33 times, the phone 3310, that time I would open it and check what's going on. So I didn't have money to develop these pictures. So a friend of mine had a parent who had a phone which went inside the water. Then they needed help to get it revived. I took the phone, unlocked it, put methylated spirit on it, and then the phone was boom, working. I got myself $30. $30 was a lot, guys, just so you know. So I took this $30, I went to town, developed those pictures.
Oh, okay.
And then I came back home and I was like, yeah, the pictures. It's like, okay. There were a few of them that were bad and there were a few of them that were good. It's like, no, go deliver, get some money. It started there. And that's how I fell in love with the film space. And I started taking pictures. Over time, I was like one of the most recognized photographer in Matsulu at the time. But I was very strategic in terms of taking pictures. It's always been in my mind that rather than having to work, I'd rather stick to business because then it's better for me to be in business than to work. It's expensive to work. It's cheaper to work for yourself. The cost of having to go to work doesn't match the amount of money you carry home. But if you work for yourself, you can actually scale up, you can always scale down without affecting anything that you do. Okay. So I kept it in that way. So when I was taking pictures, I will not take my classmates. Mind you, I'm still at school. I will not take my classmates because then for me, they are unemployed. I am the one working, also in doing school. So if they want me to take a picture, it's either they pay upfront or they get their parents to talk to me that I should take pictures so they can pay. Otherwise, I will not take pictures. Okay. And that really worked for me because that's what I used throughout my career as I was growing up. I did my grade 8, 9, 10 with my photography money. Then I developed into photo. I started doing videos. With the money that I was making on photography, I started buying my own camera, buying video camera, venture into doing weddings and all the stuff. And then at the same time, I also took the interest of computers. I started buying computers. So I had my own setup, like doing my post-production, doing all those things by myself. And mind you, I didn't go to school for this and I'm just learning it over time. That time, YouTube was not a thing of, I was like, you have to learn it yourself, otherwise you won't know. So I started editing at the time. It only happens until I finished grade 12. When I finished grade 12, I had nowhere to go. Because remember at school, we had no opportunity of, I would say, we didn't get an opportunity to have a career guidance.
Yes, so as someone who had already identified the passion that you had, still in the school curriculum,
it's not included. And the worst thing is, mind you, when I'm growing up, I want to be a web developer. It has nothing to do with photography. I had no interest in photography, but because I was brought in, I was able to move with it. And then over years, I started learning how to do website design on my own without going to school. So currently I can do a website and complete it without having to. So this is something I learned over the time. But the most important thing is this. The moment I finished school, grade 12, I then realized that, basically I'm done school. We had this slogan that says education is the key to sit at home. Just because then we realized that by the time we're doing grade 11, some of the kids they would finish and then they'll stay at home. So when we were going to school, we'll see them sitting at home. So in our mind, it was like, okay, now we're gonna go to grade 12 and then we're gonna get an education and then we're gonna get the key and then we're gonna stay at home. And that's it. So that's how it happened. And we finished, we had nothing to do. So we had to stay home. But I didn't stay at home. I started an organization called Asihlulo Community Project. Basically, in the organization, what I was looking for was to solve the problem that I was facing. So I went back to schools. Between 2008, 2009, Matsulu performed super well, like super well, because I was one of the young person who was doing career guidance at school. So I would go to schools, do career guidance, get to classes, talk to grade 11, talk to grade 12, show them the way. Children without parents, or maybe single mothers, or maybe orphans, what I would do is I'll go to the universities, get all the application forms, print all of them with my own computer, with my own money, print all of them, take them to school, have them apply for particular, because then my worry was, I don't want us to have many of us that are going to have the key to sit at home. So I took that and it was working very well. The schools were very good. The teachers really appreciate that, and they took some good pictures. I still have some of the pictures. When I look at them, I'm like, this was actually very, very good. Until one night, I was sleeping and I woke up in the morning. They stole everything in the house.
Everything you worked for.
Everything. They stole everything. And I said to myself, why would someone steal these things that is helping the community? Like, I'm doing so much for the community, nobody's paying me. Why would they steal this? And I realized that I went to the police station, I reported it, and they told me, you will be lucky if you get these things, you'll never get them.
Okay. But already you had started this path of filmmaking and
and then from
fast forward.
I realized that there is nothing that's going to happen for me after they stole everything. So lucky enough, I got into an internship, which I think the Department of Public Works then they announced, they've sent out calls for learnership. And my interest on learnership was on electrical or IT. That's the two places I have chosen. And then when the internship time comes, I didn't get the ones that I applied for, which was electrical. I didn't get for IT. I got for community house building. So I went 2009, I went to do community house building. I did plumbing, I did carpentry, I did bricklaying. It was that time that I realized that I don't think I need to study what I want to do in South Africa. And I took a decision at that time. And I said, I'm not gonna study. I want to pursue film. They stole my stuff. I really fell in love with this thing. I want to pursue film. Then I decided to go to, I started my passport application. Excuse me. I started getting a passport. I said, now I have a passport, and then what do I do? I started looking for schools. I searched around, find a school in India. I was like, okay. Then they asked me to write an assessment. I wrote different schools. I went to New York Film Academy. I went to all the universities that I can think of that are doing film studies. Then I did my research just to find out how much it's gonna be. India was the cheapest. The other ones were super expensive. So I did my assessment with India. Little did I know that I was gonna do very well. So they were teaching us about.
Well, when was that?
This is 2009, towards
2009,
December.
okay.
Yeah, towards December.
And then what was funding your education there in India?
In India, it's I'll get to the part because then it's very interesting. So I then started that process of me applying to be in the school, and I got accepted. I was like, oh, this is good. They sent me an invitation letter. I'm doing this at school. So the internship, they give you some money, right? They give you money for tickets and for travel and all the stuff and for food. So some of my money, I'm not using it for all the things that they're giving me to keep. I'm using it to further my studies. So I'm applying to study abroad. Oh. I got myself a chance to go to Johannesburg to do my visa for the first time. Don't know anything, not knowing. I fill up the application. I went to the embassy, submit all documents, and boom, visa came back. I got the visa for 1 year. And mind you, this is towards November, December then.
Yeah.
I come back. Okay, I have a visa. I'm accepted at the university. Then what? No way. And then I started, I think that time Mpumalanga had this program. Towards the end of the year, they will get extra people to work.
Yeah.
So I joined the team that used to pick up the garbage on the street. So I worked there, did hours there, made some good money, saved the money. And then little did I know the Department of Art and Culture had opened for bursaries for people who want to study film.
Okay.
So I get to see this thing. It's today, they're closing on Friday. And I didn't have all the things that I needed to prepare. I tried to gather everything, and then I submitted on Friday.
On a deadline.
This is January. Fast forward, February, I'm supposed to go to school. Results need to come out. Then results comes back. I'm rejected. I was like, The requirements were like grade 12, acceptance at the university or school.
Yes.
Have all the necessary document that makes you qualified to go. And then I got rejected. I was like, how do I get rejected? And then on top of that, the advantage, if you have a single parent, my mom was alone, my dad passed away many years ago. So like, I was like top of the ring. And my tuition fees was like $2,000. So that was like easy. I had the visa. So the most important thing was for them to pay my flight, my accommodation, and my tuition. Okay. I got rejected. I was like, how do I get rejected? Then I look at the list of people that got approved and I was like, wait, these people are not supposed to be approved. Their parents work for government. They actually don't qualify for this program. So I said to myself, okay, well, that's it. Then I went back to appeal. I asked, why was I not selected? They gave me some unnecessary reasons. They said appeal. I put my appeal application, came back.
But what did they say the reason was?
So the reason was, we already funded the list that was needed and there was no enough money anymore. So, and also we realized that we've given more people, so you didn't make it to the list. And then they're pinning my qualification as a barrier to say, look, you didn't do very well at grade 12. And I was like, okay, but hello, I didn't do very well at grade 12.
But you didn't have to pass mathematics to be a filmmaker.
Exactly. So the most important thing, I was accepted at the university. Yes. So if the university accepted me, you can't reject me because of my grade 12 results, because the entry requirements, I met it. I'm not going to study in the department. I'm going to study at the university that accepted me as I am. So I got rejected second time. I did my third appeal. I got rejected. I got my fourth appeal. When I did my fourth appeal, I prepared myself to travel. I told people I'm traveling, I'm moving out to study in India, and then this is my fourth appeal. I want to send my goodbyes to my families and everyone. I came back. I got rejected again. This is the fourth time. I appealed, and then I got rejected for the fifth time.
So the reason is still the same?
Yeah,
your metric results are not good enough.
Some many reasons. We tried everything. We tried to squeeze you. There's no budget anymore. We finished everything. And then time is going. It's closer to March, and I'm supposed to start school February, and now it's closer to March. I said to myself, okay, it's fine. I did my appeal for the sixth time, and then it got rejected. And then I did my appeal for the seventh time. The seventh time, I took some of my money, bought myself a ticket this time to travel to India. That time, the ticket was about 7 point something. So I had saved that money to say, Worst comes to worst, I'm going to have 7,600 to go to India. At least I'm going to be like, because Indians' money was like less compared to our money.
Yes.
So 1 rand was equals to 6 rupees at the time. So 7,000, I was like super, like very rich guy. Yeah. I then said, what, it's not going to work. These people are just frustrating me. So the 7th time, I buy my ticket to travel to India, and then I appeal. Then they reject me. Now I already bought myself a ticket, and now I have to travel, but I don't have the money to pay for the school fees.
Yeah.
Now I'm stuck. Then I said to myself, what do I do? I appeal for the 8th time when I appealed, I came across a gentleman who was an acting HOD at that time. I just forgot his last name. I'll remember his name. So we're in the elevator, and I was going to the department to appeal for the 8th time this time.
Yeah.
And I got to him, and I was like, look, luckily I didn't know that he was the acting HOD at the time. So I went in the elevator. He was like, oh, gentlemen, how are you? Where are you going? I was like, oh, I'm going to the office of the HOD. I've been rejected for 1, 2, 3. I'm building up my, that's elevator page. He's like, oh, is it? He said, no problem. I'm going to the HOD's office. Let's go.
Yeah.
He gets to the HOD's office. He's like, no, don't worry, come. I'm going to the HOD's office. And then he goes to sit on the other side. He's now acting HOD at the time. And then he's like, okay, so what's going on? I showed him my document. He picks up the call. He says, wait a minute. There's a gentleman in my office who you guys rejected for this bursary. The people that you approved don't deserve than this person. How did you do it? And they said, oh, we tried. He said, look, I don't care what you tried. I need this young man to go to school immediately. They said, no. They said, I don't care. I just want his document in my office. I want to sign him. I want him to go to school. It's that time. When he says that, I left the office without the confirmation that I'm getting it. My flight was in 2 days' time. I went on and I flew to India.
Without talking to him now.
He already said everything's going to be good. Yeah. Why do I have to stress myself? I took my flight, landed in Dubai, spent some time in Dubai for the first time flying, I didn't know. So I left on the day of flying. I left in the morning. My flight was at 11. I left around 9. I think I got to the airport around 9, 10 in the morning. I stayed there until 11. To make sure I don't miss a flight. I've never flown before, so I need to make sure I understand the process. And then I got to Dubai. My flight there was delayed, a 2 hours layover. After 2 hours, I flew straight to India. I arrived in India around 8 p.m. their time. Mind you, I'm only left with 500 now. My ticket was 7.1. Somebody helped me to pay for my taxi to go to Joburg. I got to the airport, and that was it. Because I didn't use a shuttle, so I used a taxi straight to the park station. When I got to park station, I got someone who says, no, you want a taxi to airport? He says, yeah. Then he helped me carry my bags. When we got to the taxi, he demanded $100. That's when I realized that, hey, Joburg is not safe. And then he was like, you need 100 rand, otherwise I'm taking all your bags. I didn't have the choice. Now I took out my 100 rand, I'm left with 400 rand. Then I got in the taxi. It took me to the airport. I waited. I didn't eat the whole time I was there up until it was time for me to get in the plane. I got my first meal in the plane around 1:45 in the morning because they served the food around.
So you arrive in India, you have not booked a place to sleep?
No, I don't have a place to sleep. I don't have any. I just know that I'm going to school. That's the most important thing at that time. I landed. They took me to the hotel. They already had my picture and my name, and then
they were expecting you.
Yeah, they were expecting me. So the school came to pick me up.
Okay.
And then they took me and I went inside there. They took me to a hotel. Got to the hotel. I slept. Woke up in the morning. They're like 500 rupees. I was like, okay, what is that? And then they told me there was it 5,000 or something there, and that was equivalent to the money that I have in total
in your pocket.
Yeah. So I gave it to them. I paid. And then they took me to the school because it's very far from the school. It's in Delhi. So I was like closer to the airport.
Yeah.
So I went to Delhi. I got to school. I sit down. The principal says, hey, everything is good. Welcome to India. Now pay us the money. I was like, which money? They're like, no, you are coming to India to study. What do you think is going to happen? You have to pay. I was like, wait, I don't have the money. My province, my country is going to pay you guys in April. Mind you, it's like first week of March.
Yeah.
They're like, no, it doesn't work like that. You have to pay up front. Then we'll give it to you when you're... I said, no. It doesn't work like that. I don't have the money. Now, the guys who brought me want money for the transport. I don't have the money. The school has to pay for it. And I'm sponsored by the department at that time. I've got a bursary, so, you got a bursary and your bursary is only covering your tuition. So there's no
accommodation. You signed nothing, it was just a verbal.
Yes, exactly. I only got my document when I was over there.
Okay.
That
also, as you left,
I told them, he made sure that
everything.
He told them, I need this. You go to school. I will make them to do everything.
Yeah.
So when I discovered that the school says you have to pay before you can move on, I said to them, I don't have the money. I started calling the government to tell them, guys, I sent them email. This is the situation on the ground. I need to pay this, to start school. And the guy said, the department says, no, there's no money. We can't do that. It's only after April. So now I have to strike a deal with the school that I'll pay them in April. And now it's early March. I don't have money. I don't have a place to stay. I'm still struggling with the school fees. And then I haven't gotten to where I'm going to sleep. That evening, I'm battling. So there was a gentleman from Nigeria. His name was Johnny. He was studying there. He was there before me, so he was completing at that time. Okay. So he said, no, don't worry. You can spend the night at my place, and then tomorrow you can find your own place. He doesn't know that I don't have money to find my own place. And then the school says, go decide what you do. Otherwise, if you don't pay this money, we're going to send you back. I don't have money. I bought a return ticket. It's from March up until December. So I'm only going there and I'm only coming back at the end of the year. I'm not coming back for visiting. I don't have that money to do that. So my trip was to go, do my thing, finish, come back. World Cup is happening in South Africa at that time. I'm in India. So the following day, I went back to school and they said, look, there's nothing we can do. If you don't have the money, we have to send you back. Hey, I learned to negotiate with Indians. Can't negotiate with Indians, but I was able to negotiate. I got myself a deal with the school. I called the department. I asked them to write a letter. I told them what to write. On this date, they need to pay. If they don't pay, I'm ready to pack my bag and go back. I commit myself that I will do very well. And the school said, okay, we don't do this, but we'll do it for you because you are here. Now I need to find a place to stay. I don't have a place.
One problem solved and then
another one. So with the place to stay, I got to look for places. They told me the price. It was cheaper at the time because with 500 rand, I'll get I'll get a room to stay,
For a month.
Yeah, for a month at the time. It was 2010. So I got a place. I had no money. I don't have money. Money is not there. A place to stay is not there. And that's not the end of the problems because then I don't have blankets. Then I don't have food. Right? So it doesn't end there. Lucky enough, the school was like a walking distance from where I was and the accommodation so was good. So I got a place on top of the roof. Indians, they build house and then there's a roof where they do their ventilation. So whenever they cook, all the smoke goes to the ventilation space, but they make it like a room so that the air doesn't stay in the house. So I said, okay. Then the guy says, look, you don't have money. I have a room upstairs, but it's a ventilation. So, it's cold. What are you going to do? They brought me to this room. It's like, if I can show you pictures of that room, you'll be like, no, man. Just forget you lying. So I don't have blankets. I don't have anything.
Yeah.
I go to the space. I see the bed. It's just ropes. It's holes everywhere. I don't like. It's like if anyone would be brought into that room and say you stay here, they were like, nah. This is not a place a human being can stay. But I had no choice because I don't have money. My purpose there was to study.
True.
Then I said, what do I do? I said, okay, I'm here to study. So the most important thing, I have the school and I have a place to sleep. Anything that happens in between, it could be death of hunger or not proceeding with school because then I can't go because I'm starving. I then prayed and I said, God, let's make a deal now. This is my deal between me and you, God. If you spare my life in this country and I don't die because of hunger, I want to promise you when I move back to South Africa, I want to help set up the film industry in Mpumalanga. This is my covenant between me and God. And it is through that prayer that God said, okay, it's done. I didn't know it was done, but then, when you pray for stuff, sometimes you don't know that this is going to be done or not. You just pray with the hope that God will make it happen. And then I started going back to school. We did our first exam. It's a trial exam just to see what is it that you understand about the film industry and so on. Mind you, there are kids who started in February and me, I'm coming in around March. So we wrote our first exam.
But wait, what are you eating? We don't get to that part.
I don't have anything to eat. I'm just drinking water. Because then there's already a covenant in place. You won't die.
Okay.
Yeah, I already spoke to God about it and he said, look, you won't die. So when I get to school, they offer me coffee, like a small cup of coffee like this. Then I would drink that throughout the day. And then when I get home, there's nothing to eat. So I just sleep. And then wake up in the morning with the hope that when I get to school in the morning, I'll get that first cup of coffee and then it's just going to keep me going until I get to have the money. And then I'll call my parents and then my mom is not working, nobody's working. So there isn't anyone I would call and ask for money. Then I said to myself, this is going to be hard. Let me study more and hard. We did the exam. When we did the exam, I was top of the list. Remember, I found kids in the school. Indians are already in the school. Then we write the exam. I'm on number 1. I did like 98 over 100. And then there are kids that have been there for almost a month and a half. And then I surpassed all of them. That's when I got friends.
Oh, okay.
And now God's plan is in process, right? So these friends, they're like, oh, you did very well. So that means you know more about the film industry. How did you know all these things? You knew, we didn't. I was like, hey, I did my bets. I understand. I love this industry. Then from there, then they take me to a restaurant where they sell food. And they said, look, you're my friend now. We're going to eat food. We're gonna you're our friend now. You're good at school. You understand this thing. So now I have food. Now, and it looks, in my mind, it doesn't ring a bell that this is the covenant. It's in progress. It's like, I'm doing very well, I'm getting things going. And then I get food. They showed me the type of food I can eat. And then they will make sure that every day they will do their dinner with me. And then they will do their lunch with me. Knowing very well I don't have money. And I'm like, why are they doing this for me? I'm like, okay, that's good. It is in that process that when I realized that maybe it's important for me to focus more on learning about the film industry, understanding it more deeper, because then the industry requires someone who understands it better. Without me venturing into studying more, I will not be able to do much. I took advantage of that and I had told myself that I'm only here to study. There's nothing else that I would learn. So I will only focus on just my studies. I did my studies very well and I'm fascinated by IT. I don't really know why. It's something that I love to try and do. So I had a computer. It was an LG computer, old computer. I brought it to school. And then when I got to school, they are using Apple computers. I'm using a LG Windows computers. So they will open Final Cut to do editing, and then I don't have Final Cut on my computer. And it was very frustrating. And I have to be at school to do that. Otherwise, I won't be able to do it.
Yeah.
So I then started doing a research and say, how do I convert my Windows computers into a Mac computer? Because then I can't always be at school. Once school closes, I have to be home. And when I'm home, I can't use my computer. So I started doing Hackintosh. It's called Hackintosh. So you convert your Windows computers into a Mac computer. So I started looking for softwares that you can install, different types. I think I failed about 19 to 20 times. So I'll do the installation, then the keyboard will not work, and then the screen will not work, and then one button will not work, until one day everything worked. It took me about 2 months and a half.
Yeah.
And then that time, at least at the end of April, I had called my mom and I told her, look, you are getting pension, take your pension money, let those kids there, they are with you, suffer. You guys can go to the farm and do some digging, put some plant there, and you can eat that. I don't have nowhere to dig yet. So my mom will send that 500 to me month end. They'll be left with nothing, pension at that time. And then they'll be left with nothing. And then I would use that money to pay for my school fees, to pay for my accommodation, and to be able to get food. And there was a gentleman who was also very generous. Sometimes he would send me 100 rand. His name is Mbogoto. I still talk to him like he's been very helpful. So he would send me 100 rand. When it gets there, it gets to be 500 rupees. Then it's enough for me to eat for quite some time throughout the month. So with that Hackintosh and all thing that I was doing, it then helped me to be recognized by the school, to say, wait a minute, so you can do IT actually. I was like, no, I can't. But if I have to solve something in the IT space, I can actually do it. They're like, but how do you know about it? I said, I just learned because then it's fascinating for me. I want to do it. So the school said, okay, look, now that you've made a Windows computers to a Mac, which means you understand this thing very well, we're going to give you a part-time job at the school. You're going to do IT for us and networking. So anytime computers, there's a problem, you will troubleshoot, and then this will help you to also gain some extra money. But we'll not pay you much because we're not supposed to hire you as a student.
Yeah.
You're supposed to, we're going to give you certain things like your food, we'll serve you with food and all those things. Okay. So now I have balance of some kind. Now, this is the covenant working, and I'm not paying attention to that. Yeah. To me, I'm like, I'm very intelligent, smart, and bright. Like, things are happening left, right, and center. Then the students then comes in and says, look, our Windows computers, can you convert them to my computer? Then now I have customers. Yeah, now I charge them, of course. So that's how I then survived my Indian studies until I completed in December.
So you were there for a year?
Yeah, I never left. World Cup happens in South Africa. I'm not in the country.
But I mean, the duration of your training
was 1 full year.
Was 1 full year. Oh, okay.
Yeah, I was a diploma. So when I finished, I think it's very important maybe to say this, that it's when they say experience is important, people need to take that into consideration, because without experience, certain things you won't know. And I think maybe I'll put this in the context that even some people who works in certain position right now, because they were not exposed to the experience, they pretty much maybe find themselves not delivering, because then they've never been exposed to having to gain the experience. When I landed in India, I didn't know that if I'm gonna stay longer than 6 months, I have to report to the immigration that I'm gonna be here for 1 year, which is something I had zero idea, and maybe the school also had no idea that this is something that I need to be aware of. My Nigerian guy would go back to his country and come back. So for him, his home, they were well off. So he would travel. There was no issue at all. But for me, I will have to be there for the whole year. And according to the immigration rule, if you're going to be staying more than 6 months, you need to report that you're not going to be working. You're going to be here for more than 6 months, so that when you leave the country, you don't have a problem. So I didn't know that up until I was passing the immigration to take my flight to come back to South Africa. Then the guys at the immigration says, whoa. You were here for a whole year and you didn't tell us? What were you doing the whole year? No, I was at school the whole time. No. Please go back. Go back. Go report to the immigration and tell them what were you doing for the whole year.
Yo.
Mind you, I have left the place where I was staying, everything. Now going back, I don't have a place to stay.
Square one.
Yeah, I don't have a place to stay. I don't know what's going to happen. My flight is already gone. I can't change my flight already because it's on the day of flying. So now if I go back, I don't have a ticket to go back home.
Yo. Okay.
Little did I know my ticket was flexible. So there was this feature that back then, if you miss your flight, you can always pay 500 to change the date, even if after the flight has gone.
Okay.
And the reason has to be valid. I went back, so I called the guys that were coming in as new students, and they were also from Nigeria. I called them, I was like, guys, I'm sent back. I need to come back. I don't have a place to stay. They said, no problem, come and stay with us. It's for today, right? It's like, yeah. I got back, I stayed. I have to find the immigration. I've never been to it. I don't even know where it is. I don't have money. I don't know anything. I need to find my way to the immigration. I got to the immigration office. When I got there, they said, okay, what is your case? They sent me to another place. They said, go wait here and come back at 4 p.m. No, they didn't do that. First day when I got there, they canceled my visa.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the first day when I got there, I said, look, I was supposed to leave today. They sent me back. They said I didn't report here, this. And then they just canceled my visa and they scratch it and they cancel it. Now, once they cancel your visa, you're not supposed to be in the country. You're supposed to have left the country immediately once they cancel it. So you can't be in the country with a canceled visa, because once you're in the country with a canceled visa, you are in deep problems. Now my visa is cancelled. Then they say you need to meet the lawyer and the judge, the immigration judge, who's going to determine your fate, whether they're going to crucify you or they're going to send you home or they're going to deport you or they're going to put you in jail for overstaying in a country with a cancelled visa. What do I do? I said, okay, I'm in a foreign country. I don't know anybody. Idea comes in my mind. Oh, embassy of South Africa. I went to the embassy of South Africa. I told them my case. They're like, okay, good. This shouldn't be a case, but go back tomorrow. Let's find out what they're going to do for you. I went back the following day. They give me an appointment when I get to the place. They don't tell you anything. I get there, I stay. They give me an appointment. They say your appointment is at 4 to a certain place. I don't even know. I went to that place. I stayed until 4. When I get in, the person met me, says, okay, here's your letter. They're giving you a letter. I'm taking the letter. They're like, don't open it, letter, until you leave the building.
Okay.
I'm like, why would you give me a letter and tell me I mustn't open it until I leave the building? What's the situation? I said, okay, it's fine. I took the letter. I went out. When I got to the letter, it says I must leave immediately the country. If I'm found in this country in the next 24 hours, I'm going to be jailed. I didn't arrange my visa, my flying back time. I didn't have arrangement I don't have the money to change my ticket. I called the embassy and I told them this is the situation. The embassy said, okay, it's fine. We'll try to organize. They called my family. My mom doesn't have money because the money that I had was money that I used to change the flight time, because my flight was booked to fly at the end of December rather than the first week of December. So when mom gave me money, I changed the date. So now they are expecting me to come home. Now I can't call them and ask them for another money because they got paid and they gave me that money. They changed the ticket, so I come back. And then I called the embassy, the commission officer at the embassy. She said, this is harsh. I don't know why these Indians are doing this to you. It's fine. Called my family. My family, everyone said, we don't have money. Nobody. My aunt, she had money, but she said, no, I don't have money. And she just told me, look, just leave. The school is not working for you. Just come back. Forget about school. This thing is not working for you. I said, no, I need money to come back. I'm already done. She's like, nah, I don't have money. So the embassy said, look, we'll give you 500 rand to change the ticket. They gave me the money, and then I called the airline. We changed the ticket. The first flight in the morning, I flew out of India and I left back to South Africa. It was one hell of an experience. It was after that, then I realized that understanding certain little things about immigration and flying, that is why maybe with immigration rules and laws and all those things, I'm very well informed, because after that experience, I took it upon myself to go learn and understand how these processes work so that I don't come across this situation.
For sure. You flew back, and what did you do then?
I got back home 2011, nothing.
You sat around.
Yeah, just got home. Then there's nothing to do. There's no work. And at that time, I already concluded I hate job work.
But what the department gave people bursaries, including yourself, what were they expecting you to do after completing?
Well, remember, my bursary was not really a bursary. It was like, let's just keep him sharp. Let's not have him to talk. Because if I would put it this way, if I'm competing with someone who's going to do his studies at AFDA, and I'm going to study in India, the difference here is I'm paying $2,000. I don't think AFDA is $2,000. And $2,000 at that time was 20,000 rand. Yeah. This is 2010, about 18 something thousand. In 2010, AFDA wasn't that money. And mind you, this person is going to be paid for accommodation for the whole year. And tuition at AFDA at that time, it was nothing less than 200 to 300K for that particular program. So I am competing with those people. So throughout the year, I've exchanged emails, guys, give me money, give me money, give me. They said, nope, there's no money. We can't give you money. Whatever we gave you, it's final. There's nothing. You're not going to get anything. I have, even today, when I look at those emails and I look at it, and I see these people now that are still working in the department, I'm like, yeah. But this guy was okay to send me a message and tell me he's not going to help me.
Yeah.
Until today, this works there. And he's happy with it, you know? So I had nothing to do, but I realized that because there's nothing to do, I have to do something for myself. And without doing something for myself, I got a placement by another company, by Fenter Kumalo. He lives at Belfast. He had a production company. So he got to know about me.
Fenter Kumalo, he was the mayor.
Yes. Yeah. So he gave me the job, and he said, look, you seems to be very informed about this space. Come work for me. So I worked for him for about a year. This is 2011. So 2011, the whole year I didn't do anything. It was towards 2012 when I got to meet him, and he said, look, you can come and work for me. So I joined his company. I worked for almost close to a year. After working, then I realized that I don't think I can work. I just don't know how to work. Because then I put all my time and energy at this job, and then the return on investment is not enough. So I don't think I need to work. Yeah. Then towards the end of the year, I told him, look, I want to go back to Nelspruit. I was staying in Belfast at that time. It's cold. So I said, nah, maybe because sometimes it's the fate, you know, sometimes fate is working differently. When I was in Belfast, maybe I was being prepared. When I moved to Canada, I don't have to worry about the cold because it's cold, you know. So, and this is work in progress for the covenant that I made with God. And then when I got home in 2011, before 2012, I got sick. I got sick, like I almost died. I was actually, so when I was in India, the smoke was too much, so it affected my lungs.
Oh, you stayed in a ventilation room.
Yeah. So the pollution was very bad. So when I got home, I started breathing fresh air. I got sick, like super sick. Like I was okay like this, like just fine talking to you, doing everything. And then around 5, I realized that I was sick. And then I started walking to the hospital and I fell on the street. Then I called the ambulance, and then the ambulance came and picked me up by the Nel City there. Nel City was still active at that time. So the ambulance came and picked me up. I was laying on the ground. Couldn't move, nothing. They took me to hospital and they said, dude, what were you doing? Why would you smoke so much? Like, what did you do to your lungs? Like, you did what to your lungs? Your lungs, you know, you're almost done. You have so much holes. What did you do to them? I was like, no, I was in India studying. They're like, man, this is deadly. They put me on antibiotics. I was in hospital. I took medication for a month and a half, lying in bed, not doing anything.
Sure.
To repair my lungs.
So when the department paid money for you to be there, it was only for your studies,
only
accommodation,
nothing. Just
so you stayed in a ventilation room.
Yeah.
That's terrible. And you were not aware at that time that
I'm killing myself.
Yeah.
It will only happen when you are in a space that has fresh air. Then once I got home, fresh air. Then that's where the effect. Because remember, when you smoke, right, it doesn't kill you at that time. It's when you stop smoking that does, because the smoke opens the hole and the smoke fill up those holes, making sure that you don't feel sick. The moment those holes are not filled, then you're now sick. So that's what happened to me. But I took the medication, I stayed in the hospital, and I got healed, and then I was fine. Now, sometimes you have to look at things and say, if I didn't, the doctor said, you could have died.
It was so serious.
Yeah, he's like, you could have died maybe 7 days before today. The way your lungs are. You could have died like 7 days before. I don't know how you survived these days. And you are here. And, you know, and when I look back now, I realize that sometimes there's certain covenant you don't make. And then, you know, and God is like, okay, he can't die because he made a covenant. And his covenant was to go back and set up the film industry in Mpumalanga. And if he's not done that, why did I keep him the whole time? He has to do it either way. So I moved to Nelspruit. I opened a company of my own at the Caltex building. It was called FTP Multimedia at the time. And then within 3 months of being in the space, I come up with an idea. I said, wait a minute, let us have a film festival in Mpumalanga. We're going to call it Mpumalanga Short Film Festival. This is 2013. Coming up with the idea. And I said, okay, this is brilliant. I got home, I got in the office, I sit down on my computer, develop a logo for the festival with the name Mpumalanga Short Film Festival. Perfect Moments last 4 years. Boom, now I have. Then I started putting out. I made some call. Because remember, I know what I need to do. I've been learning so much. So I can get things going like that. So I started I said, let's do a film festival in Mpumalanga for the first time. We don't have a film festival in the province. Maybe this is a good start for the film industry. While I'm doing this business of production, I'm also doing the business of setting up the film festival. Making calls for submission, come up with themes, ideas, do the poster, print them in my office with the little money that I've been saving when I was working. And then there was posters of the festival all over the town, and I'll walk and do it myself because I didn't have a car at that time. I'll post that, and then I got my first job in town to do production. And that time I was like, okay, while I'm setting up myself, let me do any work. So I got a wedding job to do a wedding job. And this job, we're in the same building with the late Mhlaba. So for some reason, he got the job before us, but then it was booked. So he had to talk to the owner of the wedding to say, look, can we switch time? And then those guys, they said, nah, we're going to find another service provider. So they came to us, finding us in the same row, in the same office. They're like, oh, you guys do videos? They're like, yeah, okay, we're going to give you the job. Boom. Now they want screens, they want this, they want that. We only have a camera. So we said, okay, it's fine. We went to borrow it still puzzles me that, sometimes some of the plans that God makes about you, you can't do anything with them. And when he makes them, there's no changing. You can do whatever you want. You can't change his plans. And his plans are just going to keep happening. So we got this job. We go to borrow screens. And then on the day like a day before we do the job, we went to borrow screens. And then we were driving around town just to organize everything that we needed. We got stopped by a traffic officer. I was working with another gentleman. His name is Taken Gravis. So we got stopped in his car because he had a car, I didn't have a car. So we got stopped by a traffic officer. We didn't have seatbelts on. So we got tickets for not wearing seatbelts and 250 each. So we were owing 500 the city at that time. On that very same day that we got ticket, we drove to Ligazi to borrow monitors so that we can set up the monitors. Yeah. It was around 5, 6 at the time. We got the monitor, so we have everything now. It's late evening. Yeah. And the cameras and everything is in the car. As we were driving back to Nelspruit, we had a car accident. Like corner the corner of Masurichi, the very dangerous. We got a car accident. Very, very bad. Like, very, very bad. The accident that we got, the people that we almost got into an accident with is the family that is getting married.
What a coincidence.
I know, right?
It's bizarre. It's bizarre.
Yeah. So, and then the car, everything that was inside crashed. Now, on the day we got a ticket for not wearing seatbelts, when we got the accident, we also went wearing seatbelts again.
You don't listen.
Of course, we don't listen, right? Now, when this accident happened, the car took a turn, spin went up, everything crashed, and went to sit on its own tires. And we were just fine in the car. Nothing happened. Everything inside crashed. Now, when the accident just finished, an ambulance was passing by.
Okay.
And then it stopped. And then the guys that we almost hit them stopped, came back to check us. Oh, you guys are good. Oh, we're good. We're good. Yeah, we're good. And the ambulance says, the guys, the emergency, the guys from the ambulance, they checked us. They're like, oh, you guys were lucky. If you had seatbelt, you'd be dead. Right? Because where I was sitting, the top of the car went down.
Oh.
So it would have cut me, right?
Yeah.
But because I didn't have a seatbelt, so when it was hitting, I was moving.
Oh, shit.
So that's the only time. And they were like, oh, you guys were lucky because you didn't have seatbelt. If you had seatbelt, because the seatbelt would strap you in, then when the car hit the ground, it's going to hit you. Then you go.
What else saying?
Yeah. So almost died. Then we didn't know these guys that are the family members of the guys that are getting married.
Okay.
So they're like, oh, you saw the guys. No problem. We called the guy that is getting married. Oh, we had an accident. He said, what's your backup plan? I was like, we didn't know about a backup plan that when you get to an accident, you need to have a backup plan to go to your work. He's like, no, I need you guys to shoot tomorrow. I don't care. So we took it to the hospital. They checked us. We had late Mr. Nkosi. He used to live at the White River. He said, look, I'm going to give you guys my car and I'm going to take you to the work. As long as your camera works, you can get another screen and then you can. We got there. We set up.
So the equipment was not damaged?
Not all of them, yeah. It's just the monitors, but the cameras were still fine. So we didn't get to do the work. In the morning, we are stationed. I'm stationed at the wife's side. He's stationed at the husband's side. So the husband is around Kanyamazane, the wife Usetwale. So before the wedding, when we were about to leave, a rain comes. Like heavy, heavy rain. And this rain caused an accident that blocks the road. So now we can't leave. We got delayed for 2 hours because of the rain. And then on the other end, when these guys had to leave, their car breaks down.
Hey, yeah.
We got ourselves into the wrong wedding. I guess I would say it was the wrong wedding. So when that happened, we then realized that, okay, this is dangerous wedding. We said, God, you know what you're doing. Let us get this thing done. The rain ends, they move the car, we pass, we get to the wedding, then we get to Botanical Garden. They were doing the wedding there. So they got married. Immediately after they finished their vows and everything, the rain stops and everything goes back to normal.
Okay.
And I was like, wait a minute, what's happening? So the guys, they see us, we are like, no, we're not working normal because we just finished, we just got an accident and today we are working. He's like, what's going on? I'm taking, I think he got injured in his knees. So, and we were telling him, oh, we had an accident. He's like, where? We were telling him, he's like, oh, so you were the guys who almost got an accident yesterday with us. This is the father of the people who are getting married.
Yeah.
That's how we got to know.
Okay.
Now, if you look at it, it's all boils down to say you're already setting up the film festival and then you're having an accident. You can't die. Your covenant between God was you have to
fumes and
exactly. You have to set up a film industry in the Mpumalanga. And if you don't do it, then you're not gonna die. Unfortunately, you have to do it. You don't have a choice. I said, okay, it's fine. We set up our first film festival. We made a call. If I still look back on those pictures, I'll tell myself, I say, you know what? It's been a long way. If Mpumalanga needed to have a film industry up and running, that was the opportunity.
That was the opportunity.
Because I got everything. And then I remember setting up everything, organizing, inviting people. We got so many films. And then we don't have money to pay for the venue where we're going to host the festival. But we only have money for 1 day. So I said, it's fine. It's safe enough. 1 day.
One day.
The film festival, it's 7 days at a time. I'm doing a 7 days film festival. I don't have the money to do it. I only have one for 1 day. Right? So I made some call and people didn't give me money. Called the department, put my application. There's no money. I said, okay, it's fine. No problem. There's no money. So day one of the festival, we put it up and then people come, not many. And then we use the disaster management center when it's just new. It was still new at the time. They had a management company that was dealing with it. So you will not get access to it through other than through them. So we spoke to them like, guys, we're doing this, we don't have this. They're like, no problem. As long as if you pay, you do it. And at that time it's 2,500. So we only had 2,500. So we paid at 2,500 for 1 day. We said, no, we're gonna get extra money. There are people who promise us money. So on day one of the festival, when the program is happening, we're launching and everything, people are watching the movie, I'm knocking at people's offices in different places, raising money to pay for the second day.
Yeah.
Right? I was lucky enough because I didn't get the money.
So why do you say we're lucky? Because you didn't get the money.
Because then, the way things works, your luck depends not on what you get. It depends on whether you get it or not. And if you don't get it, then at least someone will see that you're doing something. But if you get it, like if you get the money, someone will not see that you're doing something. But if you don't get the money, then someone will see the work, because then they will know that now there's a space, there's people, but there's this resource. And because of this resource, I'm taking away this opportunity from these people. Little did I know, day two, I had people from Bushbuck Ridge, I had people from Leidenberg, I had people from Hertzebande. They took taxis, they get in, they hired, they came for the festival.
So the number increases.
Yeah.
Day two.
And I don't have money. And I don't have the space. So people comes and they get to the place and then we try to go in. We say, no, we're going to pay. And the guy says, nope, you can't go in without paying. Now we have people outside. They want to go in, but there's no way they can go in because
they must sort out the rent
because
first.
You don't have the money to pay. The Department of Art and Culture came. It was Shagam Kwanazi. It was Simon Kumar. They came. They're like, yeah, Manje, why didn't you, you should have told us. I said, no, but you guys know about this.
You told them about it from the inception.
Yeah, like, you guys knew about it. They're like, yeah, but you should have not gone it. I said, no, we needed to do it.
You can't wait for government. They're also going to wait forever.
We needed to do it. We had money. We paid with it. So it got finished along the way. So that's why we were hoping that you guys were going to rescue us. So now that you are here, make something. Pay if you're going to assist. They're like, no, it doesn't work like that. That's what I understand. It doesn't work like that. That's why we are here. The young people were so shattered. If you see the pictures of them standing there, me addressing them, having to tell them, look, guys, I don't have the money, but at least we are here. So at least that shows you guys want this thing, right?
For sure.
So we're not going to stop. We're going to do it again next year. They're like, yeah, but how are you going to do it without money? I said, no, don't worry, we're going to do it. So it was that time when the department realized that, okay, you know what, you didn't do the festival. We're going to talk to the city of Mpumalanga. We're going to give you the venue of Mpumalanga Civic Theatre. Then we can pay for your trophies so that you can award the filmmakers that made it to submit their films. And then they did that.
Okay.
And after they did that, we said we're going to do it the following year. The following year, we did the preparation. Everything was good. Now, when God works, he works miraculously. So in 2013, 2014, towards the end of the year, the department calls me and says, look, the MEC, Mama Nana at the time, wants you to work for us in the department. So because we sent you to school, the department wants you to work for the department, because then you
spend money.
Yeah, so, and you're doing what you're supposed to do.
That's what I was asking.
So I got,
in the beginning,
it was placed as an internship program for 1 year. And I said, okay, no problem, I'll come and do it, but what am I going to do? They said, no, you're going to be working in the film office, responsible for this
But you're going for an internship?
Yes, right. And
program.
Yeah, I'm leaving business to do it. Then I said, okay.
Doesn't make sense, but yeah.
I joined and I said to them, if this doesn't work for me, I will leave. They said, everybody was like, you will leave government to not go to work. And I said, if it doesn't work, this is 2014, before we do this, the first full year, festival that we did that was better than the other one.
Yeah.
I said, if it doesn't work for me, I will leave. And they said, when we got to the government, all of us here, we started here just like you. That's the mindset we came with it. 10 years later, we are still here. We are not going anywhere. I said, the most important thing is this: I did not apply for this. That's the big difference. Because I didn't apply for it. You guys said, because I went to school, you want me to be part of the department. So I am part of the department. I don't think if there was a post that was advertised for me to apply, I was going to get it. So this is it's a circumstance.
But what were you doing there? Because you went to school to study filmmaking, to make films. And then what are you doing in the office now?
I think one of the things that I was doing there was attending meetings, going places, getting to see how government works. Not really for the space, I think for the industry, according to March, because that section I was in had no budget. So, the budget, I think it was 300,000 if I'm not mistaken. So there wasn't much you can do with it. The only thing you can do with it is just travel with it. And then that was it. Yeah. So it was through that time. And then when I was working, I realized something. I realized that I'm not doing what I used to do when I wasn't working. And people are not getting help more now that I'm working than when I wasn't working.
Exactly, as you say, attending meetings.
So I said to myself, nah, this thing is not going to. So towards the 2014 festival, the department gave us 300,000 for that festival's year. But then I had to resign from the festival so that they can make room to accommodate the festival. We got a letter that we're going to be funded around April, May there. and the event was in August. Mind you, our festival has always been like that. So we will do it in August, the 2nd of August up until we started 2nd until the 7th, and then now 2nd till the 10th. So we didn't get money for the festival in 2014 up until 7 days before the festival, and the festival is happening 7 days. And now I'm still using that stupid mindset that I had to organize the festival without money up until the last day. And the people I was working with, they saw the letter, but they like, if you got the letter in May, and now it's July,
Still the money,
and you don't have the money. You want us to go through the same thing that we did last time, but what I did differently this time, I planned the event without money. And I said, everything that I need to do doesn't have to cost me money.
Okay.
So anything that will need money, I will use the money that I will get. But everything else, the program, everything, it doesn't need money. So it was that time, and then I got an opportunity to start traveling abroad in that 2014 part of the year. So I got my first opportunity to travel to Paris. I went to La Rochelle Film Festival. Now, strategically, God is placing me in places where I have to learn what I'm doing. Like you're doing a film festival, but I need you to be more informed. You know, I want you to go to this festival.
Yeah.
So as I go to festivals, and then I go to La Rochelle, I go to Germany, I go to Netherlands, I go to UK, I go to Hong Kong, I go to Italy, I go to Cannes, I go to like almost all the big festivals. I go to Canada, TIFF festival.
Yes.
This is before the festival of our own. So now I'm getting informed. More
to understand
how am I going to do this thing better? You know, I'm looking at all these things. It's God's plan. And it was at the festival in Toronto that I realized that maybe I should move to Canada and get to learn more about the film industry before I come back down.
Okay.
I took advantage of that. We did our festival for that 7 days. So I spoke, at the time I met NFVF, getting to know how NFVF works. So I struck the deal with NFVF to say, look guys, we have a festival. Can you bring people to do training and pay for certain things? Already I'm strategizing, because then God is positioning me to get the people that are going to assist me so that we don't fail again. So we did a festival at MTPA. They have a conference facility there, like the auditorium. So we set up our own banner there. We set up a project. It was a very beautiful festival. So we got the money 7 days before, and then we paid a lot of money for prints and stuff, because then it's too late now, you pay. Yeah. So we did a festival. It was very successful. It was one of the most successful events we've ever organized without having a help outside the province. Okay. And then at that 2014, I said to myself, and then we did an award ceremony at Mnotweni. It was beautiful, you know, the setup, everything. The department pays, you know. Okay. Very good. People got their awards, amazing. Then we had to do the following year, which is 2015, and I proposed money, enough money. So let's do at least 2 million. And then we're going to do the festival in Kruger National Park. Yeah. Immediately after that, we went to Kruger National Park, we struck the deal, we did everything, and the department says, no, we're not sure if 2 million we can have for this thing. We have so much commitment. There's a program in the Eastern Cape that we needed to take care of. So we're going to move some funds because the government in the country, Mandela thing. I said, okay, that's fine. I took a decision. I said, you know what? This province doesn't value this.
For sure.
I moved out of the country to Canada. Got to Canada, settled down, looked at Canada, said, okay, initially my plan was like, I'm going to move to New York. Yeah. But then when I got to New York, I realized New York is not for me. Super busy. I stayed for a week and I said, you know what, I can't live in this place. Now I packed my bag, I got in the bus, I went to Canada. When I got to Canada, Canada says, you're here for what? And I told them, I lied. And then I stayed longer, I extended my stay. it becomes a work permit. Then I got a job to work at that TV station called Rogers at the time.
Okay.
So now I'm becoming a DOP for their hockey games. So all the hockey games that plays in the national TV, I was the DOP in there just doing like videography. Because that's my space, right? And then fast forward, I realized that, I can open my own company here. I start my own business actually.
Okay.
Then I set up my stuff, opened my own company called the Akuna Studio, and boom, my company is doing very well. This is taking me from 2015 to 2018. I already have my company.
Yeah.
I already set up myself. I have a wife, I have kids. I have my own car, but a brand new, I have like things that I couldn't do in 30 years of my time. And because I had this idea that when I get to 10 years,
the industry is supported. So if you put those things,
so
then
I was
it
like
works.
super good, doing very well. And like my company was doing very good. I get government projects, I do production, I got like super good projects.
Yeah.
And I was doing good. I was like, wait a minute. So it takes this short period of time to get to this place in this country. Why is it taking me so long in my own country? But I said to myself, you know what? I've done my part. God can forgive me. I've done those things. I've done all those things. And then God should just accept that it will not happen in Mpumalanga. And this is 2015 when I left the country. 2019, I visit South Africa. And I'm like, Mpumalanga, what's happening? Nothing. No film festival.
Absolutely nothing.
Anything that I left, everybody went to shut themselves. People are not doing anything. People have moved on. And I was like, this is bad. But it didn't stick to me. I was like, I've done my part. God, I've done my part. God should know I've done my part.
You tried.
Yeah, so if it didn't work, it didn't work. It means it doesn't have to work. God should just live with that. I moved back to Canada. I continue. I got my first big project to produce a documentary called Working White Black. We shot it across Canada, which is talking about racism in the workplace, which is currently going to be screened at in Rustenburg Film Festival. And it's been doing very well in Canada. And in that year, I got an opportunity to produce a horror film, which is currently on Amazon UK, USA, and Canada. I also produced another short film. Which did a couple of hours for producing. And you can check it up on IMDb.
Yeah.
And I visit home in 2022. 2021 around October, around August, September, to just say, I want to see what's going on. It was that time then I realized that, now that I'm here at home, I think I need to move back home. But I didn't take it like fully.
Yeah.
Then I moved back, I had a serious problem, then I got divorced. And then it was in that process, sometimes you would think that certain things happen because they have to happen. Yeah. But then sometimes strategies of God doesn't work your way. It works according to His plan.
For sure.
So in 2021, when I visited, I discovered that the province is not moving even after 2 years that I came. So I said nothing had happened, nothing materialized. So I said to myself, okay, then something happened, I got divorced. In the process of getting divorced, I said to myself, I can't get divorced and live in this foreign country. It's just going to be difficult for me. Let me move home. Little did I know that God's plan is in progress. Little did I know.
Okay.
I moved back. I said to myself, now I'm in South Africa. Let me set up the film festival and all the stuff. And I said, now I'm praying again. I said, God, I've done this before, it didn't work, now I'm back. Instead of me just staying and be depressed, can I do the film festival? It's going to be easy now. I'm coming from a foreign country. I've done so well for myself. And then God said, no. In fact, now it's going to be even more difficult. In fact, you won't be able to even start doing it because there's no way you can do it. And I was like, God, but what kind of an agreement? What kind of a situation is this? He said, no, you left. Who told you to leave? Why did you leave? You were supposed to finish the work. You didn't finish the work, you left. So now start over from scratch, zero. But I did my applications for funding for the film festival. I did everything. now I'm very informed, I'm well experienced, I can do so much more than anyone can think of.
Yeah.
I put up everything together. I started applying for funding. I got rejected like all the time. Applications get rejected. The way I work is still the same way I used to work in 2014. I do it again in 2023.
Yeah.
I apply and I have a date announced and I have everything in place, but I don't have money to pay for all those things. But I announced I already continue with the program, but I'm still applying for funding. I apply, I get rejected. I apply, I get rejected. I go to knock doors, they reject me. I said, it's fine.
But besides government, who do you apply with?
Private sector, you go to private, they don't even understand what I'm talking about.
What are you talking about?
They have no idea who benefits from this thing. Nobody does benefits on this thing. So I start trying to put up my applications and all this place. So I went to NAVF. I said, look, guys, why are you guys not giving me an opportunity? They're like, yeah, out of nowhere, film festival like that. Where is it coming from? Who are you? I can't just give people money that just comes up. Then I told them, this is the history. They're like, oh, this is the history. Okay, good. Keep applying. Maybe there's something's going to come.
So as you apply, you don't give them maybe your
I do, but
or something
I give them all the thing. But
yeah.
remember, when you do the application, they've never had a film festival in Mpumalanga other than the one that we did in 2014. So it's 8 years later. So the people that are working there, they are all new. So they know nothing about this thing.
And because nothing is happening in
So there's no way the International Film Festival.
Yeah.
Like, who does that? It was that time when we do the application, we get a lot of applications of films from abroad. A lot of films are submitted to the festival. Mind you, I don't have the money to pay for the venue and all the stuff.
Yeah.
And then I applied in January, I got rejected. Then there's a new call that comes in. I applied, the results comes back in August. In July, towards the end of July. Then you can get money in August. And the festival is in August first week. And then I already announced the date. I already announced the venue. I already prepared everything, but I still don't have the money. I have my application put in, but there's not gotten any response. And the dates are going. And I have international filmmakers who have their film selected. They have come to the festival, but they don't know where.
So this time you're taking a risk even people have to fly.
Yeah.
And you don't have the money for the venue.
Nothing. Yeah. And then 2 weeks before the festival, I sent an email to everyone. I said, guys, we're postponing the date to October. We don't have the venue. We don't have, there's a technical beyond reason and beyond. And the people are like, okay, no problem. Some people already booked their own stuff. Some of them, they had to cancel. And the way, because I'm informed, I strategize with my planning. I say, filmmakers don't book their own accommodation to come. I will take care of that. Oh, okay. So you don't have to spend your money to reserve your accommodation. I will do it for you. Okay. So that when you come, you are secured. Yeah. Don't book your flight yet until I confirm. Oh, okay. So I'm that strategic because I know that the country is not stable in terms of getting money. So I might not get the money. So I kind of have people flying in. Okay. And then I organize, and then July, I get the message from, and in fact, I didn't get the message. So I have this WhatsApp group that we are in, filmmakers and all those things. So I see, congratulations, Sfiso, congratulations, Sfiso. Congratulations, Sfiso. And I was like, okay, maybe I got myself a job. Yeah, this is good. I'm like, congratulations. Then they post the results of funding approval. Oh, okay. That's where people start and I didn't see it. Yeah. And I was like, we got the money. The event continues. So it was then we got the money, I think the third week of August to do the festival in October. We got the first week of September. Yeah. The event is happening in October from 7 to 15. And initially it was Kruger National Park. Now we have to change the venue because Kruger National Park doesn't work with postponement. You book, you cancel, it's out. The other days are not. Yeah. So we now change the strategy. We talk to Mpumalanga. Mpumalanga give us the space and then we use it for the festival. Mind you, it's hot. There's no AC in that place.
Yeah.
It's very, very hot. And October is very hot in South Africa.
Yeah.
So it's painful because I'm doing the film festival, not just the film festival, because the film festival is just a bigger picture of what we do. We also have the culture of cinema, which is what we invented to build up to the festival so that we don't struggle with the festival throughout the year and only become an event that happens once a year.
Yeah.
So the culture of cinema, then we go to communities, rural areas, we screen local films, we showcase them so that they are informed, because then once they know about us, then it's easy for them to attend our festival when it happens.
Sure.
And then on top of that, we also have Theatre Friday. Now, Theatre Friday, we encourage young people to go to theatre every Friday. And we do this. Now, all these programs are running. No one is funding them. From my own pocket, I take money I put for them to run.
Yeah.
So I do Theatre Friday, I do the film festival, I do the culture of cinema, and then we don't stop. Then we initiate a program called the Film Office Initiative. Now, all these programs, they are running simultaneously and no one is funding them. The department doesn't even fund them. We just do them because we were so advanced to a point that we understood that there are things that you'll do without support and you stick to those.
But I'm trying to look at it this way. We're going to continue there. Because what troubles me more about this whole film industry is that it's not getting the government support here in Mpumalanga. Northwest, they've got something called Mabana Arts and Culture and Sports Foundation. KZN, the KZN Film Commission is doing
very well.
so much.
It's doing very well, yeah.
Okay, we cannot talk about Gauteng.
Cape Town also.
That's what is Cape Town. That's what is happening. And when I look at the figures, this should be creating jobs in the province. You see, Mpumalanga should be having a slice of the cake because this content production industry is valued at what? 5.5 billion a year.
Yeah, of course. Well, 5.5 is maybe under service provinces for that particular. We're talking like 20, 30 billion.
And half of that goes to Gauteng.
Yeah, and in Cape Town. Cape Town is actually doing the most.
Exactly. And I don't know, what is our thinking here that...
I think
these things that you have mentioned that you are doing, the Theatre Fridays and all of that, it's all about creating jobs. It's all about also developing the talent that is here. It's all about, the vibrancy of the industry, the film industry. There is a gap. They're talking about creating jobs, joblessness. They're talking about poverty. There are so many talented kids here. That gets me really, really worried. Okay, now I'm gonna tell you something.
Yeah.
In 2012, the former premier, it was David Mabuza, spoke about something they were going to call the cultural and creative industry hub. 3.8 billion. That was what it was going to cost to sell it up and everything like that. That has not happened up to now. Instead, the department, they bought land, but nothing has happened. But up to now, in just 10 years, the department has spent 159.6 million on that project, but nothing is happening. Land was 12.9 million, bought in White Reef a year. Then there were architectural designs, project management that cost 68 million. So far, engineering services, 6.5 million. Professional fees for electrical and mechanical engineering work, 2.3 million. Professional fees for bill of quantities, 15 million. And transactional advisory services,
yes, of course,
44.6 million.
I know about the transactional one because I applied before moving to South Africa from Canada. I actually applied for that particular program because they just advertised it in 2022. So I applied for that. For
and this year there's money budgeted for the project.
I saw that.
And nobody knows whether it's going to start or it's going to be finished. I spoke to the premier about this and other projects. He said, look, they already costing us a lot of money. We cannot look back, but we've got to go and look for private investors to partner with us.
I don't think so. I don't understand politics because then I'm a filmmaker. So as a filmmaker, we can't associate ourselves with politics, but we can benefit or we can grow within a space where politics play a role. What I'm thinking is this. The development of the industry in the province should not be a decision that is taken by government.
Of course, but the government has to make the environment conducive.
Not even that. The government should say, where are the people who are in the space who needs this?
Yes.
Because remember, consultation, you can't consult. I can't go to your house and tell you I want to build a walk-in closet in your house.
Yes.
And then you have to use the walk-in closet. And then I don't know if you need a walk-in closet. What if you stoop?
True.
Right? So there isn't consultation. There's money. There's no consultation. So if we are
top down kind of approach.
So if we are not consulted, that means progress cannot be seen because the people that you are doing something for, they are not aware. And when they are not aware, the only thing they will do is to criticize the numbers that you put out there because you did not inform them.
No, we're having a serious problem. We were talking about a very important point of consultation. I was talking to somebody about the tourism space in the tourism space, saying, look, okay, they were promoting a project. Okay, you can visit, they call it Thailand.
I see that one, yes, I see that one.
In Mpumalanga, Swaziland, and Mozambique in one day or whatsoever that is, packaging it nicely. But now our conversation with the person was that, look, they're doing it for themselves. Who went on that tour for the experience? It was government officials. They went on that tour, the government officials. So it's the same situation here.
Yeah, I think that's why I'm saying it's. I think we have to agree that in the province, the government of the province has neglected the responsibility of playing its own part and has taken leverage in terms of what the resources are available in government to explore beyond and above having to do what they are hired for. And this has caused this problem to a point that they no longer knows what needs to be done. Because they no longer know what needs to be done, they just go there by themselves to use the resources that are in place. I'll give you a simple example. First week of this month, September, there's Fame Week in South Africa, right? Fame Week is huge, happens in Cape Town. You will get all the provinces there, but in Mpumalanga. The province of Mpumalanga doesn't go to Fame Week. Fame Week is a film industry event that brings in big organizations to invest money in the space. Mpumalanga is not there, never there, until this year. And they were like, wait, Mpumalanga International Film Festival, we heard about this, but we didn't know. But now that you are here, this is interesting because KZN knows Mpumalanga International Film Festival so much to a point that they advocate for us. Cape Town knows about Mpumalanga International Film Festival. They in fact connect us with some big organization. Johannesburg knows about organization. Eastern Cape, Western Cape, this organization, they know about Mpumalanga International Film Festival. What shocked them is that during the tourism indaba in February, March in Durban, the Mpumalanga International Film Festival was not part of the delegate of the tourism department there. And the question that came was, aren't you guys having a film festival that you should be bringing here? And we're not there. So this tells you that it's not the space that is not good. It's the understanding of the space. How does this space connect to them? So when you look at it, we shouldn't be having a film festival in the province without having the tourism department partnering with us.
For sure.
And we can't,
really connected, yeah.
So we can't, we don't have a space where we can explain why we don't have them as partners, because reasons are not valid at all times. And we can't be in that space without the economic development.
For sure.
There's no valid reason there. We can blame the Department of Culture, Sports and Recreation, but what I'm noticing is immediately after, I'll say, we did our first year, the second year, we sent a letter to the HOD to recognize the festival. The department support us. They started this year during our festival. I think they started the support 2 days or 3 days before the festival. The engagement was done prior to the festival, and then they came in, they supported the festival.
Yeah,
But that's like not saying.
But why are they not doing things in a sustainable manner, whereby they have this broader plan that, look, we've got to make this work because it's going to bring so much revenue, it's going to create so many jobs. You know, I think outside the box, man. Think broadly about this project.
When we put it in this way, when conflict of interest was invented, the reason behind the invention of conflict of interest was to protect the interest of what you work with. So you will not hire a carpenter to run an office that requires to hire a carpenter to do work. It will not work. And I'll tell you why. Because if the thing comes to my table for me to hire you, I will think that you will make money and I can do the job. Because I'm a carpenter.
So why don't I do it
So
myself?
you are going to take my job in a nutshell. Because I am a carpenter. Remember, I'm not an office administrator. I am a carpenter. So when you say, look, we need to get a carpenter to do this job, and I say, no problem. I'll get my own company to put it in here, do the carpenter work with my another name or whatever company. Now that then do this, it then create a space of shadow. You have to shadow anything else that exists in the space not to exist other than you. And how do you do that? You don't give opportunities to those people, because when you do, they get recognized. And once they get recognized, you're out of business. So that's where the problem is. And because you cannot pinpoint and say this person is doing this person is doing this, in a nutshell, you can pinpoint that this person is doing it because nothing is happening. And because nothing is happening, that person needs to account what is happening. Why isn't it happening?
Instead, the person is there. Instead of helping you
Exactly.
get a feeling that he's a gatekeeper. It's sort of like, I don't want to do this.
I'll go back to maybe an example. Maybe it might be a problem to talk about it, but I have to talk about it because then that's what it is, and I think it's very important to talk about these things. 2022, if I'm not mistaken, or 2023, there was a consultation that was done by the Office of the Premier, where they went to KZN, Cape Town, and Joburg. They got the they've got the KZN TV, they got the Cape Town TV, they get the Soweto TV. They brought in and they said the consultation, they want the filmmakers, everyone needs to sit down. When you talk about the film industry, We need to set up the TV in Mpumalanga. ICASA is open. We need to launch this. We need to register, and a forum needs to be formed. And these people are supposed to play a part so that once the registration has been done, then when the session was happening, there was presentation from the 3 provinces, and then there's us having to give our point of view. Many people were there. There was a lot. I didn't know that there was a lot of people in the space. I didn't know there was that much until that time. And then when I look at them, most of them are on radio. Most of them, they are in TikTok. Most of them are on YouTube. Most of them are photographers. Most of them are weddingographers. This maybe I would say 4 or 5 filmmakers, like maybe 4 or 5 or 2 or 3, I would say. So I'm there with all these people, and I'm looking at them like, oh, there's a lot of people. These people in this room here, if they all can produce a film, just these people alone, they can actually create 40,000 jobs. Right? I'm looking at numbers. I'm like, whoa, these people, there's a lot. Like one person can maybe create about 5 to 10,000 jobs, just one person. And we had about 70 to 80 people there. So we're looking like big numbers of jobs creation if they can produce content that is funded properly.
We talk about a very important point. Let's say you are making a film. You're shooting it now. Give us an idea. How many jobs can you create?
In a regular,
who would you need?
In a feature film, I would say it's about 90 minutes. Feature film, well budgeted. Let's talk about 200 million. I'm talking about 60 to 70,000 jobs.
60 to 70,000 jobs.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's say the project is very good. We can do this project maybe for 2 years to shoot it properly. And then I'll create about 60 to 70,000 jobs. And now this is direct jobs and then indirect jobs where you talk about your catering, your construction, because then people don't know that in film accommodation, in films we do construction, right? We do engineering, we do everything. We do plumbing, we do electricity, we do everything. We're actually the only industry that hires everything that exists.
Everybody.
No, doctors, nurse, you name it, we hire. We don't care. We just hire. But what I wanted to bring about that program that we attended is this.
No, I was asking the question just so that their minds are clear. What is at stake here?
So the conversation was presenting. We're going to set up ICASA, apply for a license and all those stuff. And I said to them, so maybe I was the only one who was crazy in the room, but I guess I wasn't, because then now we don't have a program currently running. So I wasn't crazy. Maybe most of the people in there were crazy, but I wasn't crazy. So basically this was happened. The idea was there has to be an ICASA application, and the time frame was short, so they need to put up a lot of documents, and then the regulations and the requirements for setting up a TV, which is analog, is very expensive, right? So just one company will tell you that they want about 2 million for setting it up. So we're talking about a province where getting 150,000 is a lot of money to make a film, right? So you're talking about 2 million for a license. Like, are you thinking you're gonna get that? Is that easy? And then, so everybody after presenting, and I said to them, guys, now I've listened to everybody. I said, guys, why don't we set up an online TV? Everybody went, Kalapansi. They said, no, let him speak. I said, an online TV, we can set it up tonight and have it run. Yeah, we can have it running tonight. Yeah. And once we set up it running tonight, we're going to have the news guys. We're going to have all the guys that are looking for their jobs on this TV. They're going to get it with this online TV. Oh, why did I pass it? If I'm crazy, look at this. SABC is going to launch a TV, SABC Plus. This was before they launch it. They're going to launch SABC Plus. What do you think makes SABC to launch TV Plus? Because they realize digitally is the way. Eventually, that analog thing is going to go. They're going to run all their programming through digital. And they're going to cut that ICASA thing because it's costing them a lot of money.
Yes.
And they said to me, in fact, we don't want you in the quorum. we should not vote him because this one is going to give us hard time. And I said to them, I'm saying this because what we are doing here is not going to materialize because the people that are coming in for this, they don't understand it. And because they don't understand it, it's just not going to work. Then they say, hey, bangihlalisa phansi. Mlungu wasukuma wase Cape Town. I said, no. In fact, I'm worried because it looks like the department did not do consultation. I'm even shocked that there's someone in the room, one person who understands this better but is not on the other side of the table, be part of this panel to talk about this because he knows better. He is actually right. You guys need to have a digital TV. It's going to work. If you go analog, it's not going to work.
Because that's the future.
And they said, see, the white person, I khala phansi mlungu. 2 years later, 2 years later, we don't have it. And the people are still there. They're still fighting.
The talk about Mpumalanga TV started more than 20 years ago.
You see,
I know of the initial talk.
So, and then after that, I approached the office of the Premier. I said, guys, I don't want money. I just want you guys to understand that this is our future generation's jobs that you are killing with you not allowing this process to take place. Don't give me money. Give me permission.
Yeah.
They said, no, we can't go through that process. We're doing it with the structure that has been formed. Well, now you can engage the structure, and the structure made it clear. Hey, that guy, we don't want him. Because if he comes in, we are going, no, we can't do that. What about the grandmother who is at home who doesn't have a phone? I said, the grandmother who is at home who doesn't have a phone doesn't watch what pays you. That's what you need to understand. The grandmother at home consumes news. And after news, nothing. So you can't tell me about a grandma who's going to consume news and is getting pension. And that money is generated by you. You are the consumer. You are the one to feed into it. And if you have the space working for yourself, you are able to generate revenue by creating a production that will put content in there. So you're not able to understand. They're like, no, my services are going to be available. I'm going to make it available for free for you guys. In any event you guys are failing, come to me, I'll help you. That's how I shine along. They started a campaign to get signatures. Who did they come to? Who did they come to last minute? They came to me, they're like, oh, we want to do a campaign. We need to get signatures. We are struggling. Something is not working. I said, what do you guys want? They said, oh, we need a logo. We need a website. Oh, we need a logo. We need a Facebook. We need signatures. I said, how many signatures do you want? They're like, hey, the people don't know. You do it because you know. I said, okay, it's fine. 2,000 signatures, no problem. I went in. I created a campaign from day one day, not... These people, mind you, they've been in the thing for almost 7 months. Now they are now coming to me like, campaign, they want this thing. I said, okay, no problem. Day one, I did the campaign, I did everything. I put it up. I said, good, get the signatures. They got the signatures. And they came back to me. They said, yeah, hey, no, you see, but yeah, we're going to do this. And then they went to mess it up. And I said to them, the most important thing about this thing is this. Don't fail the industry to serve your interest.
That's the problem. That is the problem.
If you are coming in here to solve the problem, don't come with your problem to solve the problem. Because when you come in with the problem, your problem is going to prevent you from solving the problem that you are going to solve. And since then, we don't have a TV. And then there was this thing that was launched, Mpumalanga TV, from Kensington, out of nowhere. I was like, here one. And I got to know about this thing a day before. Or not on the day, in fact, not a day before. So I'm like, okay. I RSVP, I'm like, okay, I want to go. I got in there, I sit down. And then they're like, oh, we're launching Mpumalanga TV. And I'm seeing the people that are there. And I'm like, okay, guys, we're launching Mpumalanga TV. They're like, yeah. I'm like, from where? They're like, no, it's Mpumalanga TV. Content has been made, things have been put together. And I'm like, okay. So, I am very vigilant. And I I analyze things to see what's okay. So when I sit down, they started talking. Before they go further, and I said to the guys that I was sitting with, I said, guys, do you know we are getting robbed? Okay. Do you know we are getting robbed? They're like, what do you mean? I'm like, from what I'm seeing, what we are doing here, it looks like Mpumalanga is going to be buying slot on a TV channel in the name of Mpumalanga TV. Jealous. Mpumalanga is launching a TV. I said, no, but I'm just seeing it that way. I don't think we have a TV. I think we have a program in a channel.
Yeah,
they said to me, I go to hell, you don't know what you're talking about.
Is the space enough? Because the whole idea of having a provincial TV station, whereas for people like you, your content is going to be used there.
Yeah.
So if you're buying a slot in another TV station for another province, then
right,
is the space for the
and then you're getting 1 hour.
Content?
And then you're getting 1 hour, I'm told. Is it 1 hour or 2 hours when you learn? Or 2 hours? 1 hour. So they said to me, wena inkinga yakho uzungabi khona kule tinto leti ne problem yakho wathi kakhulu Mpumalanga is launching a TV. And I said, okay, here's my advice. I'm just going to go sit there, but I want you guys to come back and tell me what did you find out. How did you know? I said, how did I know? I thought you guys said I am jealous about this thing. We didn't know that we are getting a program in a TV channel. I said, you cannot launch a TV channel without certain things in place. It's not possible. Unless you're launching a program on a channel. You can do it. I can do it today. I can launch a program on a channel today. But I can't launch a TV just like that. You understand? No. So that's what happened. And with those things that are happening, right? Now, this is where it gets painful. The office of the premier, whether they like it or not, whether they hate it or they don't hate it, they know me. They know my capacity. They know my expertise. They know my experience. In fact, most people are referred to me by our local government to be assisted by me in the space. Economic development, they know me very well. Arts and they know me. Education, they know me. Mega, MT, all these agencies, right? All of them, they know what I can do. They know my capacity in the space. They know what I can deliver. You know what they don't know? Is that they're taking away opportunities from young people in the name of government's name. Because if I have so much experience and knowledge and I can solve so many problems and then I'm not known or I'm not seen or I'm not given the opportunity, it means that the idea is not to solve the problem. It's to keep the problem running so that we can always say nothing is happening. I think one thing what we have...
we can't be talking about expanded public works programs.
No. Don't even go there.
It's not for everybody. But most of the talented kids who could be musicians, who could be actors, stage actors or film actors, they apply for those jobs because there are no jobs.
There are no jobs.
They go there, they're not interested.
The other thing that maybe we can talk about is the issue of knowing when to create sustainability programs. I think most sustainable programs are not needed in the province because in the event a sustainable plan is put in place, it has to be crashed down. We used to use a theater, civic theater, for Theater Friday. We will get it for free. And very grateful with it. The biggest challenge we had there is this. We have the culture department, the arts and culture section. That is not funding Theater Friday. That has a budget for that program. And then there's Theater Friday that runs inside the space of that office. But the office is not putting resources into it. Then you run it for 5-6 months down the line. Then they discover that you are running this program. And when they discover that you are running this program and they have budget and you are not getting it,
Yes.
Now the top management discover the program and say, wait a minute, you want to tell me you've been running this program for this long?
Right.
In this space, and the department is not giving you anything. I said, no, the department is giving me space. They said, no, I'm talking about the budget that we budget for this program. I said, no, I don't talk about the budget because I don't know if you guys have budget or not. And this is what they say. Do you know that these guys are the one who broke the theater? And because they broke the theater, we need to close them from accessing the theater. Now, I'm working with about 17 young people behind the scene that are benefiting from Theater Friday.
Yeah.
And then I have these schools that brings their kids every Friday, about 5 or 7 schools that fill up that theater for the Theater Friday program. Now, all of a sudden, it gets shut down.
Yeah.
Because now there's an accountability. How did these guys have the program and then we are not funding it, and then there's budget on the place, and then that budget doesn't go to the program, and because the budget doesn't go to the program, then someone needs to say these people are bad, then they will close them down, then they cannot continue. Once they don't continue, then yes, the program is over.
Yeah. Now
We stopped doing Theater Friday because of that, because we don't have theater anymore. When we want to use the theater, they tell us we need to pay money to book it, so that we get a letter that says we can use it for free, but we need to put deposit into it.
Yeah.
And then that money we don't have at that time. These young people are getting in for free. The money that we are getting there, we're giving it back to the young people who are committing to work on that particular. So we're actually creating sustainable plan, because when we do it every Friday throughout the week, these young people are participating. Young people are staying away from drugs and alcohol. They're busy preparing themselves, because we do drama, we do theater, we do poetry, we do spelling bee, we do my creative disability, we do film. All these things are happening on that particular Friday. So these young people, when they finish school on Friday, they go there, they get entertained. But instead, when now they don't have nowhere to go, every Friday when they finish, they go to the club. They get drunk, they get wasted. And then we say we are fighting GBV. You can't fight GBV. There's no way you can fight GBV. The only way to fight it is to create programs that prevent young people from being frustrated so they can commit crime. I'm coming from Pilgrim Rest. I had a conversation with the people. We have brought CO Cinema there to screen film outdoor at Pilgrim Rest. It's a community of about 3,000 people. It's so sad to a point that the majority is young people, and the majority is 80% is young people. Then you have the 20% of these old people and senior and all the stuff. And this 80% of young people, they all do alcohol, drug, they sleep with each other. That's what they do every day. And then there's people who comes in, use them, and sleep with them, and then go. Now, then give birth. They all have kids and all those stuff. They have all the kind of disease that they can have. And you're saying it's 3,000 people, eh? And I meet these people and I'm like to them, so make me understand, why can't you do something? They said, no, you can't do it, because then when you try to do something, they're going to label you, and they're going to like move you, or they will block you, or they'll make sure people don't recognize what you do. And I said to them, but there's 3,000 people, and then there's 80%, like there's 80% of unemployment. So in a community of 3,000 people, about 200 even by 7. And then 2,800 people are unemployed.
Yeah, man.
And this thing goes back to say, if our government wants to solve problem, they will need to solve the problem of their employees. Because it's not government. It's not the government is us. We are government. But the functions of government, it's the people that are working in the space. Then there's money that is, you see, I always believe in this, that if you give me 50 rand to go buy tomato, and then I spend 50 rand, and I don't come back with tomato, and I say to you, we need 60 rand next year because I couldn't get tomato with 50 rand, then you give me. To me, it's stealing.
Yeah.
There's no amount of evidence you can put on the table
Yeah.
that you can prove that you couldn't buy the tomato. Because it's either the market has been closed, the money has to stay. It's either there was not enough harvest, then you bought less, then the remaining money must stay. It's either you got robbed, but somebody has to be caught to be arrested. Then the other thing, we can't trust you with money, so you can't have money anymore. It can be that. That's where accountability comes in. And I think there's large amount of unaccountability that is taking place in our government, which makes it possible for nothing to happen because there's no accountability.
Yeah. It's sad. I want us to move away from the politics.
Yeah.
We've said enough of it. But now, this reminds me, as you say, I was searching here a story I did earlier.
Yeah.
Earlier this year, there was an Africa Day lecture at the University of Mpumalanga.
Yeah.
And this professor from Botswana, what's her name? Alina Segobe.
Yes, I saw that one, yeah.
Spoke about this. She was complaining about the ministries and departments of arts and culture. But she was saying in Africa generally that they are least funded.
Yes.
I'm not sure if we're funded enough here.
No, we funded enough. We just okay. So I would say this. Africa is one of the most funded countries. Like Africa is a continent. It's more funded than any other countries.
Yeah.
And this is what happened.
Yeah.
We spend more money planning.
Yeah.
And by the time we execute, we don't have money. That is why we have a problem. Because the more money we spend is in planning, is in initiating stuff. And then the money to do things is usually less because then we use almost half of the money. For example, if, like now they just announced, is it 38 million or 58 million for the hub? The new budget.
3.8?
No, they just put another budget. I think it's 38 or something. 28 or 38 or 4.
Just to spend it without it getting off the ground again. There's not a single place.
So what I'm saying is, if there's 38 million, right? In a regular situation, if 38 million is in a private sector to develop a space, it gets developed, right? Right. So we can't say 38 million cannot. Yeah, right?
Yeah.
There's a space here, Valo Hyper.
Yeah.
Right? It's being developed. How much is the development? I think it's about 28 something million, right? They're doing it. It's happening, right?
Yeah.
So if that can be done privately, it means that government should not get money. And it should not give it to people who they know. Yeah. They should give it to people who knows how to get the job done. Because you can't give me money to build a hub.
Yeah.
One thing that I will do, I will buy a cinema camera, which is 5 million. And I'll build a studio to produce films in there. Just like Amazon 6 Studio. So the difference is buying cars and all those stuff will never come to my mind first. But it will come, what will come first is how am I going to create a space where everyone that is in the space can benefit from it.
Yeah.
But if you give me money and I am not a filmmaker or I don't know anything about filmmaking, the only thing I know is watch TV. I will take the money, buy myself something good so I can be known that I have money, spend it anyhow, report that the money has been used to invest into establishing something that doesn't exist. And that will be accepted as a report because treasurer should not be accepting such reports for that long. Like our national treasurer should never by mistake accept any of the reports that comes in and say, we spend the money, but there's no work done. In fact, those people should all be fired because then they stole the money, right? So as an industry, this is what we're looking for.
Yeah.
We're looking for trust from government in the province. And the government in the province should trust the right people. It should not be biased. It should not favor. I don't expect the department, Mina, to consider me to help set up the film industry. If they consider me, it's because they understand I can do it. But they can't consider me alone because there's plenty of us.
Exactly, there must be.
Yeah. Number two, the government knows very well that the people that they sent to school to study film, the same time they sent me to school, they don't service this province. All of them, they service Gauteng. I'm the only one who's here in the province. Now, going back to the issue of covenant, I left 8 years down the line. The province had the cultural experience, the film experience program within their 8 years. The festival started last year.
Yeah.
It has grown more than the cultural experience that is 8 years older than the film festival that is 1 year old.
Yeah, but the thing is, the cultural experience is a once-off event, once a year.
We also do it once a year. We also do the festival once a year.
But there's a build-up sustainability
on our festival. We started the sustainability plan the following year. But the good thing is, if you can see that, okay, irregardless of whatever that's happening in the province, there's someone who can do this overnight. Clearly, as government, we should open our eyes. You know, there's one request I've ever made in the province to say, why is it that the economic development, the art and culture, the office of the premier, invite filmmakers and have not the officials, no, I'm not talking about official, and have the premier, the MEC, the HODs of all these departments to invite us and say, filmmakers of Mpumalanga, not people who are shooting. There's a big difference. There's people who are shooting and there's filmmakers. People who are shooting are completely different. We forget about them. They will confuse you, you die. Talk about people who understand the space, who went to school. Even if they didn't go to school, they've been in the space working on it for so long. So they understand. And don't look for people who are employees, because there are people who are working. Big difference. People who are working, they are not filmmakers. They are working in the space. So not filmmakers. And this has to be categorized properly. Let them sit down with us and ask us what we want so that we can tell them what's going on. Because clearly what I'm realizing here is these people, they believe that there are people who are supposed to know what needs to be done, right? But clearly those people, they don't know. There's a new chief of staff at economic development, office like HOD. I sit down with him. Luckily, I said, look, film industry, I want to help set up a film office in the province. I was with the KZN office. I was with the Cape Town. I was with Joburg. They said to me, Mpumalanga government should take advantage of you. We will end up stealing you. Pelawana, you're the only one who's working. We can see you from Gauteng, from there. These 3 provinces, they sit down with me when I was at Fame Week. They said, but what's going on with Mpumalanga? And I said to them, what you are guys doing here, Mpumalanga cannot do. To sit down with someone and say, why can't this happen? Or talk to the person who is relevant in the space.
Even if it's not you, then they should get somebody else equally or even better knowledgeable than you to run this thing.
To run this thing, right?
Not to leave this thing,
as a festival, we initiated the Mpumalanga Film Office Initiative in January this year. When we did it, we started workshops through the SIFSA. What we did was we started doing workshops that when calls for funding opens, we then walk you through the application for funding, then you can apply. Any of you have heard about 38 applications that usually get successfully when they apply. In those 38, maybe 2 or 3 will get funding because of compliance and all those things, right? And that's from Mpumalanga. With us this year, with the initiative, we did 137 application. And everyone was so proud. I was like, yo, when are you work, Mos? I said to them, no, I don't work. I just understand what needs to be done. And these people, they need this kind of support. And then I spoke to government. I said, government, give me money. If you don't want to give me money, pay for me to go to all the other districts. Let us run these workshops. I don't want you to pay me, but pay for my accommodation, pay for my food. Let me workshop these people for a month. Each month I'll go to one district. I will put this knowledge that I have into their brain so that they can think like I'm thinking, so that we can go. They said to me, there's no budget for that. I said, okay, since there's no budget for that, recommend me at Nisha that you want me to run them. They said, no, we can't do that as a province.
Yeah.
So clearly there shouldn't be something going. But I believe with what they did this year to recognize our festival, and then they gave us the money that they gave us for our festival, right? I believe next year they're going to do something different. Hopefully. And if they don't do, here's what we want to do as a festival. As a festival, we want to get to a point where we want the government to realize that it has failed the province for so long, to a point that people need to get fired. Because if I'm looking at what we could be doing if we are supported fully, we are a province of about 5 million people. We could be sitting at top 1 in the country as the most highest unemployed province.
True, unemployment is very high.
Because there's a lot of people who are unemployed, right? But when we get programs that we do, we would be the highest of employed people in the country. Because, giving you a simple example, if the province had listened to me that time when I said we do online TV, by now, when you do the estimation and the number of jobs we will have created as a station, based on the 17 municipalities we have, or the 18 one is going to be included, or they are removing it. In each district, in each municipality, we would have about 20 to 25 people working. And someone might say, but that's a lot, right? Because then what will you guys be doing, right? So each municipality is unique on its own. It has something completely unique on its own that you cannot get it anywhere. They sell that. You have departments that have their own programs that they are running. They put their money somewhere where they're not supposed to be putting. They could be creating employment with that money on that particular program, so that the programs of the economic department, the tourism department, is broadcasted there, and the young people are working there. The money they are using to pay Shongwe to produce a 1-minute video that they are paying 1 million. They will put it on the TV channel, because the TV channel will sustain itself and create jobs and make sure that all program of tourism department are covered for the whole year with that 1 million. Now think about it. If we had 17 programs running like that, covering the municipality. Now, with that being visibility, each municipality will have its own programming that is playing on that particular online platform. Then we say, private sector, buy space, buy this, put this, put this. Now you are now tailoring the entire program to that particular municipality. The investment goes back to the community and create jobs, right? And then we come to the provincial one. We cover the provincial one. We say all the departments, they have a channel of their own. In that channel, instead of paying one big company or having an agreement with one company and say, you are going to be doing all events of government. But then you don't think about it. If you go to Pilgrim Rest and you bring someone from Mpumalanga, you're killing Pilgrim Rest automatically, right? Because then clearly Pilgrim Rest is not benefiting from you being there. In fact, you are taking from Pilgrim Rest. Because the budget, when it's allocated, is allocated to run a program in Pilgrim Rest. So once money starts going back to Mpumalanga, what are you doing to Pilgrim Rest? You're actually promoting the dying of Pilgrim Rest, right? So these programs are designed The TV channel is designed to accommodate that. And if we are able to implement it, I can tell you right now, this whole thing of film industry, because there are filmmakers who have their films that are there on their computers, they are dying, they are rotting.
There's no platform.
There's no platform. So if we set up the online TV, we can take this film and put them there, and we say people should pay 60 rand or 70 rand a month, and say for every streaming that you get for your film, we get you 75 cents. So think about how many people will be watching those content, and look about how much money these filmmakers will be getting through commissioning. And then once we get a lot of money from all these departments, they are paying for this film, or they're paying for the content to be on the TV channel. We then start commissioning projects that are Mpumalanga based local. And we have money. We don't even have to go to ask for funding from anybody. It's just that when you speak these things, then they think that, okay, Yabo, this guy, now he's going to cause problem. You want to take our job. He's still going to have his job to be a videographer, because then we're still going to have someone to work on that, right? He's still going to have his company to produce work for government, because that work is going to go on that particular platform. So we're not taking the jobs. We're actually making the jobs more open. We're creating more jobs, because if one person is getting all the jobs, then thousands and thousands of people are not getting the job. And that one person is only using 2 people.
Yeah.
So if a job has to be done by 10,000 people, then you use 2 people to do the job, then you're killing about 60,000 people from there, because those 10,000 people are supposed to be feeding different families, and maybe there are 2 to 2 people in the house.
No, that industry needs to be thriving. It needs to, the environment, all the systems need to be set up so that everybody
can work.
Can work, can benefit, those jobs can be created. But yeah, we've said a mouthful.
Indeed.
I think you've also mentioned a lot what you are all about and what you've been doing to try to get this industry really, really working in the province. Hopefully one day something is going to happen.
I think I'm one passionate person who has told himself that last month, June, I was in Paris. The Poland guys, they were interested in me, and they said, look, you seem to be very good at this thing. Like, the way you are saying these things in your province, you could come and live in Poland. We can do a lot with you in Poland. There's a lot. You have the potential. You have the skill that most young people don't usually have. You understand a lot of things. I would. If it was my own decision, I would take you now and go live with you in Poland, because you're really a big asset. And I'm worried that you have so much frustration in your province, and I'm just wondering, how is it that you are here and your province is not supporting? And I said to him, the biggest mistake, which is an advantage, was to make a covenant with God. To say, I want to set this thing up. And since I came back, it's just that I have to do it. I don't have any other choice.
You said one thing that people who got the bursaries with you at that time when you got the bursary to study, they are all not here. Why did they leave? Because there's no. The industry is virtually non-existent.
Trust me.
So that's the problem.
I had a lady.
Let's hope for the best.
Yeah, I had a lady that I invited. Yeah, I invited for the festival. She's a friend of mine. She went to school when I was going to school. When I called her, she said to me, "What are you doing in Mpumalanga?"
Exactly.
And I said, "I'm doing a film festival." She said, "Get out of there. You will starve and die. That province doesn't care."
That's the problem.
And I said to her, "That's why I'm here." She said, "Please, if you can leave, that's not working." And I said, "I want it to work." She's like, "No, I will try, but that province is not working." So really what we hope for is to be able to get the space where the province gives us the opportunity, give us like the same opportunities that they've been giving to other people that did not do anything, but they've given them the opportunity. Let them try to give it to us. Let's see give us the opportunity. They've given the other organization, I think the agency, there was an agency of film agency. I don't know if you know Mpumalanga I don't know about the Mpumalanga Film Agency. There was a film agency that was set up. They said it has MOU with all the other organizations.
What did it do?
That's the situation on the ground. So it's been given the opportunity, and the person that was given the opportunity doesn't even know anything about the space. But then we come in and then we say, this is what we are offering. They say, oh, you people in the industry are not reliable.
Yeah.
But then who is not reliable? It's the people that you gave the opportunity to. Then,
Exactly.
because I'm pretty much maybe one of the people who says, I am who I am because I have proof.
Yeah.
I have tangible work. So you can find out my work. What do I do? Where?
Yeah.
Right? You can't say I'm a filmmaker and you don't know my work.
Exactly. No, that's what it is. And I think it's not only that space of filmmaking, the whole art space, including music, performing arts, even extending to sport.
I think music is still doing
That's
good.
problem in Mpumalanga. But let me make this promise that the People's Eye podcasts, we're gonna invite the department. Maybe they've got a plan that we don't know about. They're gonna tell us, break it down to us that this is what we've planned to do.
I think
I hope they.
I think one thing I would prefer in this invitation when you do invite me in, because usually the most difficult part about this whole thing is that it's easy to say things when the people that are affected are not around. You can say whatever you want if I'm not around. If I'm around, then you have to, I want to sit on the other side and have you talk. Because maybe, I don't know, this is relevant. Yeah. But
good idea that.
Bamkwana, as he said to us in 2022 or 2023, if by 2024 financial year there's no film office in the province is going to retire, we have it on record. I don't think I'm saying things that he did not say. We have it on record. 2024 financial year is ended. 2023, 2024 now is almost ending. So people were asking me, what is Bamkwana going to resign because then there's no film office? I said, no, but I can't speak for him. We will get to meet him and ask him that question. But really what we need to do is to try and push, and we need private sector, private sector need to understand what we do. Yeah. And if private sector doesn't attend, we are done.
No, thanks very much.